I have an 8x8 which I made with um this person. I'm not going to try and pronounce that. Also known as Atta on YouTube, I think. Um, and we made a 2,376 block 8x8. It's not a 7x7. I don't know why I said 7x7. So yeah, it's quite good, I think, which is why there's a video on it. And for this door, I made the top with him, and then he made the whole bottom. So that means I know how the top works, and I've got no idea how the bottom works, which is a bit of a problem when you're doing an explanation. So I'm not going to explain the bottom and see how that goes. Yeah. Well, it's quite a good 8x8, I think, for the size. All apart from the really long cooldown. Yeah, I can show you how to make this setup if you want to know. When the cooldown's finished. Well, okay. There we go. I set it up wrong. So, yeah, this is the opening. So, yeah, it's quite fast. I think we measured it to be about 45 seconds or 55, I forgot, but less than a minute, which is quite good. So yeah, one double chest because I didn't bother to make one for the items in the containers, and it's quite a full up one. So you need 2 stacks and 27 of sticky pistons, 13 normal pistons, 17 blocks of redstone, whole lot of dust, a lot of repeaters, 43 torches, 25 choppers, 52 hoppers, 37 comparators, 5 rails, 1 trap chest for redirecting this dust, and there's barriers, so don't open it and break the door. Yeah, I don't normally use trap chests. I normally use tripwires or anything else to redirect it. And now that I think about it, you can do that, I think, if you don't want to use a trap chest. But I'll leave it as a trapped chest. So yeah. Also, 1 tripwire hook, that could probably be another trap chest. More stuff. 2 cauldrons and fill them both up. This cauldron needs a signal strength of 1, and I think this one only does as well. So you don't need 2 water buckets, you can use 2 water bottles if you want. 41 transparent blocks, 6 immovable blocks, 6 more blocks. They're glass because they're part of the storage. Because, yeah, so those can be any blocks. Need a lever for an input, and 5 stacks and 4 of door blocks and hallway blocks. Then for the wiring, 41 magenta, which is the bottom close circuit, I guess. A stack and 31 of white, which is the inputs. 60 a stack and 3 of cyan, which is the Six-tuple extension. 30 orange, which is the closing, 22 lime, which is the refire and extra moves, 21 grey wool, which is the top Mr. Rock double, 34 pink wool, which is the bottom tape, 13 light blue wool, which is the top double, 14 red wool, which is the input, 51 blue wool, which is the top, that's the bottom quad retraction, 34 yellow wool for the top retraction, and you also need one like sand or concrete powder and two for here. So yeah, the reason why we have that is so it can be used as a monostable, but also if this gets spammed, it resets itself. So that's everything, I think. So yeah, layout. I'll do the side pistons first, and if everything goes to plan, Atta will do a tutorial explanation thingy for the bottom. I'll send this world to him once I'm done, but I can do the layout. Just a bunch of quads, and then storage. That's the bottom layout, pretty standard 7x7 bottom sort of thing. And then the top, you need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pistons. And that carries on there. And then the storage, which I think is the best storage I've ever made. It's fun, I think. Is we need 3 blocks of storage in the top. So the way we do it is like this. So we 2-tick that, push that down, split that, and do that. And then we do that, and these just get pushed across, which makes that quite easy. And we also need the redstone block double extender. So, inputs for the top have this line, which as an updater. That single's actually there, and we have this rail to update. We also have these 2 rails to update that piston when it's there, so we can do that. Then we have this line, which has that. Actually got that, and this line, which has a different updater. It's got that because we can't have dust there for later. And we have a row of repeaters up here with a row of slabs for here, so it just powers these pistons. Now this is a row of dust to power those pistons. Another row of dust with an updater somewhere around here. I don't actually know where it is. One more, which powers these. So the input is there, and we'll start with the closing circuit because that makes sense, I think. So the first thing we will do is connect these 2 inputs. because that makes life a whole lot easier. So the first thing we do is we 2-tick this line, as I mentioned earlier. I'll get rid of these for now. 2-tick this line, and the way we do that is with comparator on subtract mode, which gets subtracted, so that's a 2-tick pulse. And it also 2-ticks this, but we actually want this to spit out this block, so we need it to 1-tick. So to deal with that, we keep this locked until this 2-ticks finished, and then it like 1-ticks. And the way we do that is like that. So now you see that's a 1-tick, because we unlock it to like work. So yeah. Then the next thing is to push this down, which we get from doing that. I'm pretty sure that's just a 1-tick. It's a 2-tick. That's exciting. Now we have that. And then we have like the sort of closing circuit you get in a 3x3. We get using this. So the next thing is to 1-tick this, power that. And the way we do that is we come down here and see that repowers. But to make it 1-tick, we have to retract that at the right moment, which I'm pretty sure is like that. And because it's a 1-tick here, it goes through as a 1-tick, so we get a second 1-tick to the stack pistons, which I will actually do this so we can test without having too much reset. So now we already have that, and then we need to power this line and repower this piston. So we just connect them like that, which means whenever power, we get that. So we just do that with a torch there. But this ends up in the wrong place, which isn't good, and this stays extended because this relocks it. But now we have nearly everything. But we need to lock this repeater now to stop this signal going through, because we don't actually want that. And the way we do that is place a dust there, which locks this hopper, which has an item in it. And then, I swear I had tile drops off. Oh yeah, this isn't my world, is it? It's a new world. So now I'm going to stick a comparator there. So as you'll see, after a while, that's meant to unlock and go into there, which it didn't. So when the lever turns off, this torch is meant to power that, which spits the item back into there. So now you see it's meant to lock it, but it hasn't locked it, and I don't know why, because it should have locked it. That's a bit awkward. Maybe it's because of this repeater, but I didn't think so. Yeah, that's weird. That goes into there. What this repeater is meant to do is update this, to stop being budded from there, so on opening this torch can power that. There we go. I guess the repeater was needed. So that locks this before this repowers, so we get no more pulses through there, which gives us space to do the next circuit, which is the top double extender. And the reason it's not just part of the close is because it gets reused in the Six-tuple a few times. So what it does is the input is this dust, well, the comparator at the moment. So immediately get that done. Then we come down here, do that. They need to be 2 game ticks apart, otherwise it does a weird extension. And it's also input bugged. So we get that. And then we need to repower this line as soon as it turns off. And the way we get that is with this thing. So that turns off actually 2 ticks after, which means we get that. And I just realised all the updaters are over here. So what actually happens is that that's quite a nice pulse. This creates a 2 tick, I think, which I don't know why it couldn't be a 1 tick. That's why it can't be a 1 tick. So then we just need the pulse to this line here from the last retraction. That's a 3 tick over there, which isn't too bad. So yeah, could try it with a 2 tick. So that's the double, which we need to power after the close is done, and that finishes the close. And once this opens, we can do this and the double redstone blocks. Push it over before these retract, but these retract really quickly. But we change that by having a long line of repeaters, which keeps these 2 lines powered for a while. So the way we power this is with this comparator. It has to be after a long time. So we have these hoppers, and stick an item in here, because when this turns on it powers the dropper but also locks this, and the item stays in here. And when this switches off, you have to wait for the item to go all the way back around to switch that one. It didn't work. So those stay on for ages. Something happened. This didn't switch back on, which isn't good. Right, then we get the double. That's meant to pulse the item back. I don't know why that hasn't happened. It's just a 1 tick, isn't it? Okay, I'm very confused now. Anyway, that happens. So I found the issue. This needs to be a slab because it buds that dropper. Yeah. Oh well, now we've got that. Everything's going wrong. So hopefully we'll see this as return its item. Which it has. So yeah. And then we need to do the double, which is another wool colour. Oh, what have I opened? pretty sure that's the layout of wool, which we splatter dust over. That powers those pistons, and then we have another line here with, I'm going to stick an updater there, which does the extension and the retraction pulse. Then connect them with a 2-tick. So that's the extension, and then that's the retraction. We just need to 1-tick this, which we do with that. So that retracts and then makes it spit out. So that's the double. That's decent. So we need to, and it's quite nice because it can take nearly any length of pulse. So yeah, take a 2-tick. It can take a 3-tick and a 4-tick. In this case, we send it with a 3-tick, which is also part of the extra move circuit. So we just connect those, which means now, if I do that, we get this like that, and that retracts a bit later. So now we're done with the storage completely and the clothes and this double, which gets reused. So does this. So now I guess next thing is to do the 6-tuple, which I'm going to do something quickly to make showing it off a lot easier. I do such as copy. I can reset it easily. So the extension starts somewhere over here, and I'm not exactly sure, so I'm gonna bring this up. So I'm gonna run this in. Let's say this is our input in the actual door. It's not this, but this works for now. So first thing we do is we power that, and we do that like so, and then we go over, actually I don't know the circuit that well, we go over like that, so that does first 2 moves nice and easy. The next thing is to power that, so we bring dust down there, stick a 3-tick and a 1-tick, just like that. Now we have the next pulse. Then we need to power this one, which I forgot how we do, which isn't great, is it? I honestly cannot remember how in the heck we do that. We don't? Okay, I'm very confused. Oh, that's a bit awkward. I don't know how the door works. Right, because we don't power this, we power this. Yeah, okay, sorry. That happens with a slab, I think. I say I think because I nearly had to change that at the end. So now we have this extension, so we get a 4-tick because it's from this monostable, which gets shortened down to a 1-tick from 2 pistons. Now we need to retract this, which we do like so. And then the next thing is to power this, to retract this, which we actually get all the way from over here. quite far away. And the way we get that is right, that's not the next thing we do. I thought I knew the sequence better. Well, the next thing we do, we 4-tick that to get this to spit out, which is why we need this updater. And that's nice and easy. Just connect it to that. So now if I do that, resets. And there we go. Now we do this sort of thing again. So we get that, a 3-tick, a dust, no, a 3-tick, a dust, a 4-tick, a dust, and then a 3-tick and a 4-tick. So now you see that extends at the right time. Which also means we get this pulse here to attract those pistons from this redstone block staying here for a bit longer. So that's how that works. And then we need to power this, which we do via a redstone block to give us more delay. Like that. That gets us that pulse there. And then after all that, we need to power this, which we get from that over there, which is a 4-tick, although I remember it being a 3-tick. And the way we get that done is by doing that. So that will retract these pistons from here up to there. I'm not going to show that because it's pretty standard. And then the next pulse is up to here, which we do with this dust, which goes into this hopper dropper, and all the way to here. So yeah, why we've got that much delay, I don't know, because I don't feel like we need it, but anyway, let's see what happens. So yeah, actually we don't need this much delay, but it doesn't really matter. Now the next part is to double pulse this line to make way for redstone blocks to go there. So the way we get the double pulse to here is with this, we 4-tick this line, and it does like a mini burnout thing. Controlled burnout is what they are called. This circuit also got changed a lot. So, and then it got changed back, I guess. So this is a 4-tick from this monostable, and that goes up to there. So now we get that, and the top piston retracts. It retracts for later. Now I realise it doesn't need to retract at the moment, but it does later. And then the next thing we need to do is get redstone blocks to this level to bud these. The way we do that is by powering this, and then guess what? We power the double from before, and we can unpower that, and it all works. And then we also have this link, which means the redstone blocks get retracted back, so that's nice. So the next thing is to power this again, and the way we do that is just with a 4-tick there. And then we have to power this after that has extended for the second time. And the way we do that is comparator and subtract mode, because it looks way cooler than just putting a block in. And then that goes into a 3-tick, into a dust, into 1 tick, into a dust. So we get that double. So now, hopefully, the extension is done. The redstone block double looks a bit weird because it's spamming a bit here, but it ends up working. So that works, and then we power this twice, so we also get part of the retraction. And before we can carry on, you'll realise that these don't actually power unless you update them like that. We update them with these pistons. Is that how? Because that's how you do it. I think that's a 2-tick, which I think it's something like that. I was close. We do that, and that just powers us right time to update them. So that's nice. And then after we power this once, it needs to power itself again. And the way we do that is this dropper loop. Which is like that. Stick an item in there, stick an item in there, and stick your output there. So what happens is, at one power, powers, nothing happens, power, nothing happens, because this hopper's facing the wrong way. So 2 items there. First time, powers. Second time it powers. Third time it doesn't power. And then it's reset. So it powers 2 out of 3 times. Which is useful because it is. So then we just bust this all the way to here with this circuit. So that's on. So now when this powers along, but you're like, it powers itself a lot, so we lock it like that. So now can't power it at all. And 2 repeaters. So this output comes from here, does that, that goes through, but any other pulses don't. So if I reset and the items are in these 2 slots, and we do the close, so I'll put some blocks for it to grab. So what will happen is this powers once, and first time it goes through, so we get a extension, and then the extension goes through, powers the double, which powers this again for the second time, which powers the extension. So now we've had the extension twice. It goes again through, powers this again, but this time there's no item here, so it doesn't output, so it doesn't clock forever. So hopefully what we will see is 2 extension circuits. Like that. So now all we've got is the last retraction, and these items have reset into those 2 droppers, which means when we power the extra moves, which is this green circuit, it does 2 extensions. So yeah, I think that's quite cool. Now we've finished with the extension, and now comes the hard part. Well, I found it hard because not much space. And that is the retraction. So The retraction's a lot more confusing, I think. But, oh well. Anyway, the retraction happens after the second extension. So, the dropper here. This is the second dropper loop. With a long hopper line and an item in the bottom dropper. So this powers every time the double is powered by the extension, but not by the close. And we have this long hopper line to give lots of delay before powering this comparator. So these two droppers, first time it powers, the item gets spat up to here. Second time it powers, the item goes through, powers the hopper, and resets back into there. So, and this is the input, well, one of the inputs to the retraction circuit. So, one thing I'm going to make is this. So, yeah. I think, yeah. So, the first pulses that happen, actually, I can make a mock-up over here, because it's a bit confusing. And we have that. So, we've done this, right? That's done, so I take it out. And we get all this. That retracts, and now we're stuck here. So what we have to do, and that's retracted from the extension circuit, what we have to do is power this, so we get into this state. And this is the clever part. We add these two updaters and power this. It does that because the redstone blocks here updates this by the rails, powers this, and then gets moved again, does that. And then we carry on. So the way we do that is first we have to power this line, then this line, and we have this monostable, goes in, powers this line later. And then we have to power the double, but it can just be a quick pulse to the double, so we do a 2-tick with a concrete powder monostable, because this redstone can power that, and we want it to always be down. And we power that with this. We're able to update it, and that gets budded. So now, if I throw an item in here, you might be able to see that gets the 2 pulses and then the double. That was a bad view. Anyway, it does the retraction, which is great. And then, so we get this, but it doesn't do that, does it? It does this. Then when that's retracted, we need to retract this, so that we get that second pulse for free while the double's retracting. And then we do double pulse to there, 2-tick, pulse to there, 2-tick, double pulse, and we're done. So, but the 1-tick to here is a bit awkward, because we have this updater here, which for some reason updates stuff, so that this powering, when we power it, it breaks stuff. So we have to disable that updater eventually. But anyway, the way we power this line is through this repeater line, because it's the only feasible way to do it now. And we do that by getting a constant signal and retracting this block, which goes through the repeater. And the way we do that is like so. So the double powers and reset to there and disable this updater for now. And we power this double circuit. You will see that retracts and we get another pulse to there, which is great. But for some reason it gets broken with that updater. I don't know why, but it just breaks because I guess it updates that when the redstone blocks have been retracted or something. So I need to disable this updater, which is why this looks so weird. We have this dust and a torch. Nope, that's wrong. Oh yeah, we've got this hump, which powers this updater at the right time, so that it's disabled when this is extended. And we get that, which is very useful. And now we've just, so now we've done up to there. But also before we carry on, this also disables the updater when we need it, when these things are being one-ticked from the extension circuit. So to disable the disabler, we stick a redstone block like that. So in the extension at the right time this gets pushed down, which keeps this on, which means that doesn't switch on. So yeah, that's just to disable the disable thing. Now the next thing we need to do is double pulse this line. Conveniently we have this, so we do a nice double pulse, and then we have to power that, so we get that, and then we have to do that to retract these pistons, then we do that again, then we double pulse this to retract those, then we do one final pulse, if we can do it, like that. So that's what we need to have done. While we're here, I might as well show this dropper loop happening. And if we power this, we get extension 1, extension 2, and after this we get start of the retraction circuit. So now the next thing I said was to double pulse this, and the way we do that is the updaters this way. We vortex this dust with this dropper of monostable. So yeah. For now I'm just gonna use a vortex with an observer input because it's easier. What I'm also going to do is copy this so that I can use World Edit to reset it back to this state. So this simply does that double pulse. And then we need to power this line, I think it was. So the way we do that is quite funny. Stick a furnace here, give it a few shovels or something, so it has enough signal strength to power this line. So then we push this down, which powers those pistons. But we can only push this down after this has been retracted from this, which means we need to do that. So now we get that, except it doesn't do that. It we get yeah, we get this, or not. Oh, I'm doing this badly. Alright, let's just do it how it is in the actual door. But basically what we do is we 4-tick this, and then we push that down, and then yeah, so we've had this double pulse, now we're doing this, and the way we get that is with that. So the way we 4-tick this, as I said earlier, was with this dropper. So this is our input line to this part of the retraction circuit. So this does the 4-tick, and this goes along and powers this down. But you also see it powers this piston, this block, powers this piston, which feels wrong. Anyway, it does that, which eventually retracts this, which sends a pulse through to this line, which is good. So what we will hopefully see is a double pulse and that. So now the next thing is to power this down again to power those pistons. And the way we do that is via, I don't know the timings, 1-tick there, which gets powered by 4-tick, 4-tick, 3-tick. So that powers down again after this has done that. So now we will see, well, we get that, and now we need to double pulse this because we've got that now. Now the next thing is to double pulse that, which we do simply with that comparator clock. So that double pulses that. So now we've got that. Now we need to double pulse this again, which we do with this piston. So this block in the middle gets juggled around a bit. The way we power that is at the 4-tick is by powering that dust which goes through here. Power that with a comparator, which I forgot how that works. The comparator's not there, is it? The comparator is here, which powers that, and that gets done by this hopper dropper loop, except it doesn't. I'm confused myself. Right, this is even one more further back. So we're going to stick an item in there and replace all these. This has delay from the hoppers and goes in, powers that eventually. So now that'll be everything. Although it breaks somehow. How the heck did that happen? This powered again. Huh? I'm very confused. How is this getting powered? From there. Because this gets powered from there. Means this needs to be a slab. Gosh, I did not know that. So now, hopefully, you will see. I did terrible showcasing. We get that. So we get a double post up there, and then a double post there. And that's the retraction circuit done. But we need to hook this line up to the rest after a long time because it powers the double and the double is quite slow. So we take this hopper into that comparator which powers that dust, and that 3 tick into that dust pattern. So now, I mean, I might as well power the whole thing. So that, after this, takes a while to go in and power all those things. So now we have the whole 6-tuple. Which is really good. Apart from that piston, which ends up with its block being spat out, which we don't want to happen in the final door. And yeah. Yeah. Okay. So the way we fix that is, now that I'm thinking about it, some of this circuitry might not be needed. Oh well. So the way we power that is we get a 4-tick and a 4-tick. Pretty sure they're 2 4-ticks. That just goes into a dropper on a stable, which gets that retracted at the end of everything. That does mean that spams a bit more. If we speed through this, you see it doesn't end up spat out. So that's useful, but also we retract this piston again. This is the part I don't think we need. With this piston up here, which is attached to the start of the 6-tuple, which I'm thinking this was a replacement for that, but we never got rid of that. I'm going to keep this anyway. And so that piston under that block pushes down and stick an item in there to lock the repeater. That just pushes down, powers that to reset it, I think. So yeah, now I've done the whole top extender and the close. Now all we've got left is the extra move circuit, which I can't show completely because it uses the bottom tape for part of it, and I don't know how any of that works, but I can kind of show it. So the extra move circuit, what it is this. So all it does is it retracts these blocks up and then powers the double, which in turn powers the six-tuple. And that, and then if we power that twice more after, if we power that twice throughout the whole door after each six-tuple, then it does the whole door. First extra move circuit is kind of already done by the double. Oh, I need dust there. So that pushes over. Does the big extender thing. Bottom pushes up one. We power the extra move circuit, which does that. And does the whole big extender thing. Tape pushes up. Power this again. Grabs the big extender thing. That's the whole top done. The way we power this twice more is we get a 2-tick monostable. Like that. So 2-tick monostable. Except we power it from this torch. And this torch gets powered from this torch, which gets powered from this dust torch. So, and that gets powered by that redstone block. So that redstone block is connected to a hopper timer. So when it retracts, it does the first extra moves pulse. And then we have this 3-tick, which is the second extra moves pulse, and that 3-tick comes from the storage line of the bottom, because storage line only gets one 3-tick throughout the whole door, and that happens after the tape. So we use it for the third extra moves. And the upper circuit, which powers that, it's kind of what gives the huge cooldown to the door. And we lock that one with that, and you stick 45 items in there. So that powers the second six-tuple, and this powers the third six-tuple. And we just stop this from powering that, like that. Which, yeah. So that's the top done. So if we wait for this huge timer, and before I forget, place that back. Wait for the whole big extender to do its thing. Then you notice that retracts about now and does the second six-tuple. So meant to grab blocks from the bottom pushing up. So that all happens, and then the tape's finished, the bottom retraction starts happening, which powers that. So then to do the last extender. Now then, one last thing I guess I could do is the side inputs. So that's that side, and then this side. Do that. That means this line powers this dropper, but it doesn't matter. And that has dust on it, which is redirected by a trap chest, and torch. Does that? This rail updates this, so you get that. this retracting, I think, powers that, or something like that. Which goes over and powers that. Yeah, so we've got that, and this piston here gets powered by this line being powered by the double, which is powered by the closing, which is powered by the lever. So yeah, that's the whole top done. Now hopefully, if all goes well, I'll send this world over to Atta, or Minecraft name is Pat, and they'll explain the bottom.
Okay, so hello everyone. I am actually taking over from Frozen Whiskers. I'm going to show you how to build the bottom, and also maybe give you a bit of explanation on how things work. Might not be a good explanation, but I hope you can still understand. So, without further ado, the first thing we're gonna do actually is the bottom inputs. So here you actually want to put a immovable block. Can be obsidian or any other blocks that is immovable by pistons, but you can also put repeaters or redstone on top of it. So like so, a little bit of top input. I think there's a slab around, yeah, here it needs to be slab. And I think this is also a slab. Yeah, and repeaters on 2 ticks here. And down here, I'm gonna put these input lines. And this input line for these two storage pistons. And next, I think we are going to build the tape layout first. So I think I kind of forgot a bit. Hold on. Okay. A piston here. 3 blocks from the front. 1, 2, 3. Right there. And a piston right there. And this will be where the rest of the block is. And I'll put a piston right there. And facing this way. Okay, so the next part we're going to build is the ping circuit, which is the piston tape. I'm gonna build tape first. I'm just gonna destroy this for convenience. And you want a block here with a dust and a furnace. Over here, put an item in the furnace. This will be used later. And I want to grab a torch, also put it there. And torch it there. In this block, you want to put a repeater. And this goes here. And a block to power this piston right here. Next, on this side, I'm gonna put 2 blocks like so, and 2 redstone torches, a repeater, and 2 ticks, and redstone along this way. And here, on top of this block right here, you want to put a sticky piston, a block here, with a torch and dust to power this piston right here. And your redstone block will be right there. Okay, so the tape should work if I power it. Let me speed it up. Okay, so the tape is working, so I'm gonna do a bit of explanation as to how it self-stopped when the redstone block hits this position right here. So redstone blocks actually redirects redstone, so this redstone line will be, redstone dust will be redirected to the block, so it does not power this block here, which powers the piston. But if it's a normal block does not redirect redstone. So when I put a block here, this just activates, powers this block here, and powers that piston, which will cycle through the floor. And once it's a redstone block here, the tape will instantly stop. So that's a bit of explanation on how the tape works. So now we're gonna build the circuit to activate the tape. So down here, kind of forgot to build inputs here for this bottom storage pistons here. So you want to do that, put blocks with repeaters on top, and you want to put blocks here. And this last block is actually a slab. So, and I'm gonna grab a dropper facing this direction. And actually, I think it's better if we actually build this later. Yeah. Because we are going to connect hoppers to this dropper right here. So you want to put a dropper from here. You want to build like so, and get I think here. So 1, 2, and the third one is a dropper facing up. And you want to connect this dropper to this dropper here with hoppers. And I'm gonna show build this later. And here I'm gonna put hoppers to this dropper here. Just run it along like so until they're next to this. Until this hopper's next to this hopper. With a hopper on top, hopper here, and hopper going to that hopper. And now you can actually replace this block and repeaters and redstone dusts along the back going to the repeater. Next, you want to put an item in this dropper here. And actually, I'm just going to do it later. You want to take an output here to a comparator. And this comparator will go to a monostable circuit. Outputs a 2-tick pulse going to a piston here. So now we are actually going to build a slider, a pusher. For the top, you want to put 2 blocks here with a dust and a piston facing down for the block, and a redstone block below it. Destroy this block. And I'm gonna build along the way until this bottom piston here. Hold on, I gotta sneeze. Nah, never mind. Okay, so yeah, never mind that. Put a dropper here above this redstone block here, and a hopper, say dropper hopper. And you want to grab a slab here, goes to a comparator. It has to be slab because this comparator actually powers this which powers this torch. If you put a block there, it will create a burnout, and we don't want that to happen. And you want to put 2 hoppers facing each other. This will create a hopper timer. So this hopper timer functions as a timer to power the tape. So it will essentially create like a countdown until the tape is fired. So you want to put exactly 22 items in here. 22. Before we continue, there is something. This is optional to do actually. In some location, if you put a block here, I'm just going to destroy this for now. If you put a block here, well, I mean in this location where I'm building, this piston does not extend when I put a block here. But in some location, when I put a block here, this piston right here will actually extend first for 1 tick, and then this extends for 1 tick. It's not a big issue actually. It does not break the door or anything. It just makes it slower. It's fine. The door will still work, but it will be a 2 seconds slower. And this step is to make it faster. So to do that, this is optional. You can do this or not, but you only do this if you place a block here, like so. This piston extends first, then this one. If that does not happen, if that is not the case, do not do this. It will break the door. So here you want to take out 1, 2, 3, 4 items. Like so. So there's 18 items in the hopper. But since I'm building in a location where this piston does not extend, I'm going to put those 4 items back, making it 22 items in the hopper. So let's continue. This goes to a comparator which turns on, goes to into this torch, a block, and a torch. Okay, so how this timer works, I'm just going to extend this for a bit. So you want to put a block here with a dust, a sticky piston, with a cauldron, and this cauldron will output to this comparator. So if we power this dropper hopper, I'll put an item there. So it will start a timer for a few seconds. Once all the items leave this hopper, it will momentarily retract this piston, giving an output to this comparator, which will activate the tape. So the way it works is this comparator goes to this torch, which goes to this torch, which locks this hopper right here. So this comparator will turn on, and this will turn on, and this will turn off. So it will transfer the items, all the items from the left hopper to the right hopper. Once all the items have been transferred, this comparator will turn off, this will turn on, and this will turn off, and the item in this hopper will go back to this dropper, turning off this comparator and resetting everything. So the items will start moving back from this hopper to this hopper. Hopefully that is not confusing. I hope you understand what I was saying. Anyways, let's continue. I'm gonna put 2 blocks here with a dust here and a repeater, to a block here with a dust and a block below this piston right here. So if we again power this dropper, we'll start down a timer for a few seconds. I haven't actually counted how many seconds it is. And oh yeah, I forgot, you have to fill the cauldron with water first. Fill it with water, throw it out before I break anything. Power this again. Also, testing is actually optional. You don't have to test it. I'll have to test it just to make sure I don't miss anything. And it works. Okay, so the tape works. So let's speed it up. And it stops. Okay, so I think that's everything for the piston tape. I think now we are ready to move on to the next part, which is the bottom closing. So the next part is the bottom closing, which is the magenta circuit. To make the bottom closing, we're actually going to take an output here from the input right here with a repeater, 1 tick, and a dust. I want to put a sticky piston facing down, a residue block. I took out the magenta block, and here I want to build 2 blocks here, here and here, and put a dust, a torch, and you want to grab some hoppers facing each other like so into a hopper timer. In this hopper, on the left one here, from this way, you want to put 14 items. like so. I want to take an output here to a comparator, which goes to a block, a torch, and a block on top of the torch. And here I want to put a sticky piston with a block. And with a block here, take an output from this torch to a repeater on one tick, so, to a block with a dust, and I'll grab a slab here with a dust, and it's a block of this dust and a dust on top. This circuit right here is your dual edge circuit. So if we put a lever here, activate it, it gives one tick on one edge, and if I deactivate it, it gives another one tick. So you wanna connect this to the inputs. And if you're wondering how this works, is basically if we put a lever here and activate it, it will turn off this torch. So this piston right here will retract, and for a moment this dust that is powered connects with this dust and then turns off, momentarily giving this dust a power which gives out a 1 tick delay, like so. And if we turn it off again, this repair will turn on. This dust will turn off momentarily before being cut off with this block right here. So that's a simple explanation how this works. So here I'm gonna put a slab, and you just wanna connect this with 2 blocks and 2 redstone dusts, like so, connected to the top. And here I wanna put a piston, a dropper hopper, like so. This dropper will be powered by this dust from a bud, and we use this piston to update it. And on top of this hopper, you want to put a repeater on 1 tick. So goes to a block, goes here to a repeater on 1 tick, and in front of this repeater, I'm gonna put a slab here and a dust. Next, you wanna put a block with a comparator, a block here, with a dust and a repeater on 3 ticks. If I remember correctly, this is actually a slab. Let's see, hold on. Yep, it's a slab. And here, repair on 3 ticks, goes to this line here, a repeater on 1 tick, and a block behind it. And here, right here, you want to put a block which goes up here to here. I'm gonna put a slab here also, and put 2 blocks there with 2 repeaters on 1 tick. And up here, you want to put a slab and a block here, and you want to block this off. Also, from on the floor, the only solid blocks you need in the door is this one right here, and the block next to this repeater, and then the rest of these line of blocks for the piston tape, and the rest can be a transparent block. Anyways, I think that is for the closing. If we power this, it should do this. Okay, I think I forgot an item here. Yeah, I did. And just start this. And so there is 4 high of blocks, 6 by 4. Like so, should do this. And if I depower this, it should. Okay, so this block here, as you can see, did not get retracted by the piston, because this blocks over here will be pushed by the six-tuple on top, so do not worry about these blocks. Once the door is finished, once we combine the bottom to the top, these blocks that were here will be pushed down here once this pistons gets powered again for the second time. So do not worry about that. And now what we're gonna build is to push those blocks up to fully close the door. So the way I do it is next to this dropper here, below this slab here, I'm gonna put a sticky piston and a redstone block and a dropper facing up and a hopper. And this is why these two blocks have to be slab. We only want this redstone block powering it. So inside that dropper you want to put an item, put a block here, a comparator, and a dust and a torch here, and I'm going to put a block on top of that torch. And here you want to put a block to an repeater on one tick, going to a block, and here and a dust, like so. And lastly, we need, actually let me just power it first. Okay, so it pushes the block up, and now we have to just reset this. And on the other edge, just gonna wait for a bit. Okay, so now let's just pretend this block actually get attracted back to this spot here. So next we need this pistons here to push these blocks here to prepare for the tape. So when the tape powers, it actually powers to push these pistons up. So the way I do that is from here, from this dust here, I'm gonna put a block, 2 blocks like so, 2 repairs, and on this repair I'm gonna put a 2 tick, a piston, sticky piston facing up, and a block. And you want to grab a sand, but since I'm color coding it, I'm going to use a concrete powder, magenta concrete powder. Sand works fine. Okay, sand. A block here with a comparator, and you want to grab a furnace here with an item in it, and you want to take an output here, put 2 blocks like so, a repeater, a dust. Okay, it's getting a bit tight here. This dust goes to this block here with a repeater on one tick, and a sticky piston and a block, which makes a monostable, and a block here with, actually I'm gonna break this first so I can actually put 2 repairs here in front of this piston here, and just wanna place it back. So I'm not gonna repower anything. So what that line basically does is when it's in this position, I'm just gonna destroy this and put it back. It pushes the block here. So the way it pushes up for the tape is we want to take a blue block. This is actually part of the blue circuit, which we're going to build in a bit. A 3 blocks here, a dust and a comparator, and a block in front of comparator. So okay, I need to grab a redstone block to give an example. So if this piston is powered like so. It actually pushes these pistons up for the tape. Just gonna speed it up like so, and once the tape is finished, it retracts the block back. So I guess that's a bit for the bottom closing, and next we're gonna build the bottom quad. Okay, so one more thing I forgot to mention here. Let me just put this back. You don't have to actually. Down here, in this dropper here, actually I want to put an item. Kind of forgot to do that. Make sure there's an item there. And I guess that's it. So now we are going to move on to the bottom quad. Okay, so we're going to move on to the bottom quad, which is the blue circuit. I think it's also the final circuit in this door. Everything's done. So I'm just gonna give a simple explanation here. Why is this a comparator, not a piston? I mean, not a repeater, I'm sorry. This needs to be a comparator because comparators actually filter out one-tick delays. So I'm just gonna do this for example. So if I give a one-tick delay here, this comparator, this is actually a kind of a monostable circuit, makes it a monostable circuit. If I power this, you can see briefly that this dust turns on, and so on. And we don't want this to be powered because if it's actually a repeater, so I'm gonna give you an example. Yeah, that is bad. We do not want that. So the way to fix that problem is to use a comparator here, because comparators filter out one-ticks. Okay, so I'm just gonna put it back. Say, stick it piston if I can find one. Put it back like so. For the wall quad, mostly retraction. Here I want to put also a comparator, as I have explained before, filter out one-ticks. So this comparator only turns on during the tape to a sticker piston and a hopper there. In this hopper you actually want to put 3 unstackable items. If you want to go cheap, you can use a wooden shovel, or if you want to go crazy, you can use like another red sword. I'm just going to put the shovel as the 3rd item there. And I want to take an output here to a comparator. This goes to this block, down here to a dust, and a block here and a dust. So I'm not gonna actually power the tape again, so I'm just gonna take this as one block so we can pretend that the tape's currently working right now. And once the block is back here, it does that. So this piston retracts and this storage piston takes back the block. Next, I'm just gonna put it back here. Down here, I put a dust and a torch over there, and a sticker piston facing down, and a redstone block. This is actually a simple dual edge. I'm just gonna start this right now. And that. So if this turns on, this piston will stay extended, but when I put the redstone block back here, it should. I'm just gonna, for example, do this so you can actually see it. So like so, and if I put it right there, it actually turns on. It's too fast, so you can actually see it. But just notice for a second this will retract and extend again. So here you want to put a repeater on 4 ticks, a block with a dust, block that off. This goes here to a repeater, to a block with a dust on top. And here you want to put a sticker piston with a block on top of it. Goes to a repeater, which is a monostable circuit, to a block, a sticker piston, and Since I'm color coding this, I'm gonna use a concrete powder, but this, as I said before, sand works fine. And this is why this is a furnace, because I'm gonna take an output here, a block here, and a dust. This dust will power this repeater and a block powering this line. This will be a double extender to retract these pistons up here. And if we do that and power this, like so. Okay, so next we are going to power the quad here. So this line here, I want to give a 2 tick pulse. Here we'll do this. Yep. It will check the pistons down. So to do that, I'm gonna put 2 blocks here, 2 repeaters, one on 4, the other one on 3 ticks, to a monostable. Put 2 blocks here, to 2 repeaters, both on 2 ticks, and a block. Wait, okay. Hold on. Kind of how this goes. Okay, so apparently there's only 2, yeah. So there's actually only 1 2 tick repair here. It goes to a block here with a dust, and a repair going this direction on 2 ticks, and a block. And I want to block this off. I don't want that to connect. And I think there's actually I think that's it for the to power the quad here. It's not done yet, because I'm gonna show you some things. So I'm gonna reset this here. Okay. So take this block, should extend, and put it back. Okay, so it retracts the pistons down. We need that because we are going to push these blocks here, and if the blocks are here and the piston is here, if we power this line, it will actually do that, and we don't want that to happen, so we have to retract these pistons down before we push these blocks here and power these lines to retract these blocks here. But there is a bit of an issue here. So once the blocks are pushed, we need to give it a 1 tick delay, a 1 tick pulse, I mean, here, so this comparator will not turn on, because if this comparator turns on, it will turn off this torch and it will make an endless loop. We don't want it to happen, so we need to give this a 1 tick delay, like so. But the thing is, I just cannot give it a 1 tick delay because we need this, once this block retracts, we need this line to be powered on, because we're going to retract these pistons. We're just gonna build a simple example. I think it was like this, yeah. So I'll give one example here. So right here, you want a 1 tick pulse to this piston, because you don't want this comparator to turn on, because it'll be bad if it turns on. A 1 tick here, it doesn't turn on, but once this retracts, I want this to be turned on for a while. So when I push this piston here, it does that. And once this piston extends, that is when I can actually turn this off. So so I can put this back on for the quad retraction. So So the way I did this, the way I figured this out is with a timing. So we have to time this right. So first this piston actually extends, and when this piston is about to retract the block, you turn this on like quickly, so it gives a 1 tick pulse here, but it also turns on for quite a bit. So I can actually do the first retraction from the quad like so. So this is gonna turn off. This will take this piston here. This will power to grab this block here, and lastly this piston will extend to grab this piston here. Okay, so we're gonna actually build that. The way I did it is, I actually should have built this sooner because it's quite tight here. So next to the above this piston, I want to put a dropper with an item in it, then a hopper, which goes to a comparator. I think I have to destroy something here. I'm just gonna destroy this for now. It goes to a block, and this comparator also, because I kind of forgot to say that this actually is not a block, it's a hopper. I will explain a bit. Appear on 3 ticks. This repair will power this a dropper hopper, and you want to put 2 more repairs and put them both on 3 ticks. This to block any dust. And this dropper hopper will take an output here, and actually you want to put a dropper hopper here also. This is for powering the quad for the retraction. So put an item there. This goes to a repeater on 1 tick, to a block, to a repeater on, actually this is 3 ticks and 1 tick, I believe. I'm so bad, I keep forgetting my own part. Okay, so it's actually the other way around. 1 tick and 3 ticks. To a block which power this piston, will extend, and power this repair which powered this line. Okay, so down here I'll put a block with a dust. It goes to this piston here to extend the pulse. Okay, so before I forgot, I'm gonna put this back here. A comparator goes to 2 blocks in a dust and a repeater. Oh yeah, one more. Okay, I can do that a little bit later. So let's just do it now. Put a block here next to this dust, and a block here. Here on 4 ticks, 2 blocks here, and we'll grab a comparator here, and a dust. Sure, there's an item there. This cannot be blocked because we don't want this piston to be powered, so it has to be dust. And now I'm just gonna set this real quick. Turn this on. Wait, I want to make sure. Okay, and put it back here. Okay, so it gives 1 tick pulse. So this comparator does not turn on. Okay, so that problem is actually because we need, when this pistons are retracted here, for this line to actually be powered a second time. This time it doesn't have to be a 1 tick, because pistons, this is not actually a solid block, so this will not turn this dust on. So the way to do that is from, actually I kind of forgot also that this block here needs to be like furnace with a repeater there, and And I want to grab a comparator, taking output from this furnace, put an item there, any item. And next to this block here, I'll put a sticky piston facing down, a block, and a dropper hopper. I'll put an item there. And here I want to put a hopper, take an output here. And a repeater on one tick, so a block. This will power this line for the second time. So the pistons below does not push it back up. So I'm just gonna reset that for a bit. I'm gonna put a block here for demonstration. So that. Okay, so I think I kind of forgot one thing. I think this was on 2 ticks. I kind of forgot. Is it on 2 ticks? Okay, it's on 1 tick actually, I was right. So hold on while I found out what is wrong. So I finally found out what actually was wrong. This repair is on 4, this is actually on 3 ticks. I'm just gonna, whoops, reset this. Oh, I destroyed something. That was actually the slab here. And pistons up here. So you want to do that. Destroy, if you want to test this, you want to destroy that and put it back. There we go. And finally we need a final pulse to power this line to take this pistons back down here to reset everything. So the way I did this is actually I kind of forgot again. This has to be a slab and a comparator. This goes down here to a dust to a sticky piston, and here's actually also a slab. I forgot again. I'm sorry for that. And this is actually a redstone block. I repair on 3 ticks, and a torch here actually is fine. Just put that because it's 2 ticks, like so. So I think that's the entire bottom done. I mean, we've tested the closing before. Just gonna start from here. And pretend the tape's working, and it goes back here. And there we go. The bottom is finished, I think. Yeah, hope I didn't miss anything, because actually if I did miss anything, it will not work. Oh yeah, one more thing I forgot to add. I think Frozen has explained how this extra moves work. So this hopper timer here is actually for the second Six-tuple extender. For the third one, we're actually gonna take an output here, like so, build a slab tower, simple slab tower, and a dust running along to power this repeater. So this line will actually be powered with 1 tick delay until this 3 tick repairs power this line, which will give it a 3 tick pulse, which will turn off this torch, because if we give a 1 tick to a torch, it will not turn off. So the only time this repair will turn off this torch is during the retraction, during this part here. So that's how we managed to make the third pulse for the Six-tuple extender. And this also does not matter because this gives also 1 tick delay if I put a block here. I'm just gonna give it a short. Yep, this gives a 1 tick, so this touch does not turn on. And I think we are ready to test the entire door. Although I will not say that you should test it now, I guess I'll have to make sure first that the whole thing works. So I guess there goes nothing. Okay, so the closing works. And one more thing, I have to remind you that this door actually has a long cooldown. It's like 20 seconds after you flick the lever to close it. So you have to wait all 45 items to be transferred to this hopper. Once it has been transferred, you can flick the lever. You can see. This is what I meant. Yep, that block will be pushed from the top. We'll set this for a bit until the tape fires. Oh, I think I forgot something. The tape did not fire. That's why I did not want you to test it first. Oh yeah, I forgot one thing. Actually, here I'm gonna put a repair on 4 ticks. And my apologies for forgetting. Okay, the Six-tuple should be done. Let's not retract the block because this needs to be pushed up. Just pretend it did. And actually just I'm gonna put the item here, so push that. Now I'm just gonna wait a while. And so there we go. The tape is firing. Turns out I missed something after all. Silly me. There we go. And the top should, yep, do the third extension of the Six-tuple extender. Just gonna wait till it's done. Okay, so I think the whole door should work by now. Just gonna flick it again, close it. And for time, just gonna remove that manually. So I can just flick it, so I don't have to wait like a few seconds. Okay. Okay, so the tape is now firing. It's working. And the third Six-tuple extension. I'm gonna speed it up a bit. Okay, so I think we're done with the 8x8. It's done, it's finished. Thank you. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to give a like and subscribe to Frozen Whiskers and to me also. Yeah, sorry for forgetting a few things from the bottom. I mean, we are all humans, we forget stuff. But nevertheless, thank you all for watching. I hope you find this tutorial helpful, and I hope if you do try to build this, you actually succeeded in making it working. Anyways, thank you all, and I will see you later.